Yo, what is up, guys? Welcome to Superhero Sitdown, episode 14, where I sit down with someone who loves superheroes and we talk about the things we love, which is superheroes. So, guys, on today's episode, I have a very, very special guest known as the Flick Pick, John Flickinger. Say what's up, John.
Hey there, guys. How are you? Thanks for having me here, man. It's always fun. It's a blast, and I'm glad you reached out. I can't wait to dive into it.
For sure. So, John, before we get into today's main topic, I want you to give my audience a brief background of yourself. Who are you? What do you do? And where can people follow your content?
Yeah, I'm a weirdo. I make YouTube videos. I've been making YouTube videos for 9 years. I have two channels, the Flick Pick and John Flickinger. It used to be John Flickster. I changed it. I talk about movies. I do vlogs. I do flick trip videos. You name it, I've done it. And so yeah, go check them out.
So guys, make sure to check out John's content. Links to all of his content will be in the description of this video. So,
right.
John, every superhero, every villain has their origin story. What is your origin story? How did you become the Flick Pick?
Well, you see, you grow up a weak boy, right? And then once the Nazis invade Germany, the military takes you and injects you with super soldier serum, and thus you become the Flick Pick. And then I crash dive into ice, and then someone wakes me up 70 years later. No, I was just a weirdo. I was just a weirdo living in my parents' basement, and I was watching YouTube videos like people are right now, and I thought maybe I could do that, and I did it, and here I am now, 9 years later.
Raw, you've come a long way, John. You've come a long way.
Some would say not long enough, but I'm trying. I've had my ups and downs, but overall, I love it. YouTube is so therapeutic for me. I enjoy doing it. I enjoy doing this. I actually prefer doing things like this more than making movie reviews. I like the discussion. I like the back and forth. Sometimes when I just stare at my camera too long, it makes me feel empty inside and lonely. So yeah. This is always a blast.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is always my favorite part, just to be able to collaborate with the most passionate people on the planet about the subject that we talk about and create our lives based around what we love. So
man.
This is always the best part. So, John, for me, my love for superheroes began when, basically when I was born. I came off the crib, and I grew up watching the Christopher Reeve Superman series, the OG Raimi trilogy, and from then on, I've basically been in love with superheroes since the moment I could breathe. I mean, my crib, my room, it was all based around superheroes, and I'm just in love with this whole genre since birth.
Really? So, you said you're 17, so what was that, 2002?
Yeah, I was born in 2001.
2001? So that was around X-Men 1, X-Men 2, right in between there. Good time. I was born in the late 80s, so I grew up with the original Batmans. I grew up with Michael Keaton. I remember watching Batman Returns on VHS 4 times a day, and I had a little Danny DeVito penguin toy, which was the creepiest thing you'll ever see in your life. Like, they would never sell a toy that looks that disgusting today. But I loved it. And I wish I still had it. It comforted me. And I've always loved superhero movies, comic book movies. They're like a pure escapism, the archetypes and the characters. They're so simple. I just love it. But I'm gonna say one thing though. That Venom poster behind you. You seem like a really nice guy. I wish I was there to rip that off the wall for you.
Oh, trust me, I didn't like the movie as much, but okay. I don't have a poster for anything else, so I just got that there for my Venom review, and it's been there ever since.
But it looks like it wants to fall off the wall right now. Hopefully one day it does.
Let's see how long that tape holds up.
Yeah, it's barely holding on to life right now as we speak. I hope it falls down by the end of this video.
Oh my god, if it does, that'd be the creepiest thing ever.
I hope it does, yeah.
So, John, when it comes to loving superheroes and loving anything in general, there's a point where there's an extreme nerdy love for it, and then there's a point where, all right, you want to create a life doing this, talking about this, creating content based around this. So for you, what finally made you make that jump, that leap of faith to start creating your life around doing what you love?
Yeah, I always liked movies, and I never looked at them the way I started looking at them until maybe 2005. And I remember watching Batman Begins in theaters, and I watched it, and I was like, wow, why do I like this so much more than any other Batman movie? And I
Yeah.
went back to the theater 5 times to rewatch it, and I was like, wow, I started looking at movies differently with that movie for some odd reason. I don't know why. It was just that movie captivated me differently. And then in 2010, I started my channel, and it wasn't specifically to talk about just superheroes. It was just, everything to do with movies because I was, like I said, a weirdo when I was lonely. And a lot of my friends, they weren't as passionate about movies, or they didn't care about talking about every intricate little detail that was superficial to them. But to me, I was like, that matters. That the hair lighting in that scene mattered.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why I did it. I just felt like I had to get this out there, or else I was gonna explode if I kept it in.
For sure. I mean, that's where it all starts. For me, I had a similar experience to you where during September of 2018, the Spider-Man PS4 came out, the video game, and I remember I stayed up till 12 the day before the game came out, and once it came out, I played the first 6 hours and beat the game before I went to school that day. And
Nice.
I remember I just couldn't stop thinking about it, and no one was as passionate as myself, so I couldn't really share it with anyone else. So I decided to pull up my iPhone and share it with my camera and upload that to YouTube. So that's where this all started. So
Yeah,
that was a
that's the
similar
best.
experience.
Yeah, it is. It is very much. So that next day at school, how tired were you?
Bro, I literally had bags in my eyes, and
But
then
who
my friend,
cares?
my friend in the homeroom, I literally went to him and I was like, bro, I beat it.
I did it. Yeah, that's a small price to pay for glory. Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is that I had beaten it, and like there was parts in the story because I was playing it at the max difficulty, and there was parts in the story where I was struggling. So I would try to search up like, oh, this part. I would usually go to the Rad Brad, who's probably one of the biggest gaming walkthrough YouTubers,
Yeah.
but there was nothing uploaded of that part of the game. So I
You
was
were
like,
too quick. Yeah.
yeah, I was like, what do I do now? Come on. And then I just kept on grinding and I finished it before school that same day.
That's awesome. So you should have recorded your gameplay footage, uploaded that to YouTube. It would have been the first one up, and you got like 200 million views.
No, actually, I uploaded one of the first ever 100% undies gameplays. So
Oh,
you get
did
the
you?
undie suit. Yeah, the undie suit is when you get that once you complete 100% of the game. And I uploaded one of the first gameplays, and then from then on, that's where the whole thing started. This whole
Really?
yeah.
There it is. Okay. Now we found the root. That's
Yeah.
awesome, man.
So, John, for someone
Yeah.
who shares the same passion as yourself, what is one tip for that one viewer that's watching that wants to do what we're doing? What's one tip that you can give them for them to create a life based off of doing what they love?
Oh my God, that's so much pressure. Wow, where do you even start with that? I don't want to give the typical cliche answer. The thing is, if you have something to say and you're unique and you stay consistent and you're persistent, you'll make it eventually. You will. The problem is now, the only problem is, there's so many people doing the same thing. It's
Yeah.
hard to kind of make it to the surface.
That's oh,
But you just have to be topical, to get noticed by people just casually watching YouTube, and also be passionate. So make the videos that reach new people, but also make the videos that you really want to make and are passionate about, because once you have a loyal fan base, you have to keep giving them content. So that's what I would say, and I'm do as I say, not as I do, because I'm not consistent at all on YouTube. I haven't been consistent in years. But my motto is I like to push record when I truly feel like doing it. I can't just
yeah. You want to
whip
feel
out.
100%.
Yeah, I can't just watch, like a mediocre movie and drive home 100 miles per hour to record a review that I don't care about, because when I'm editing that, I hate myself. So.
Yeah, for sure. So you gave your tip. Now my tip for
Yeah.
that one viewer watching out there is to remain patient. Everyone starts YouTube and they think they're gonna hit 1 million subscribers in their first year and start making money like if it's nothing. But
Yeah.
patience is the number one thing. And for us, for people like me and you, the people that really are gonna make it, we are willing to invest money and to have our channels succeed. So not only would we do it for free because we're doing what we love, but we're willing to invest money in order for us doing what we love, in order for that to manifest into something bigger. So
Sure, yeah, definitely.
patience, patience,
Yeah,
patience.
well, yeah, the thing on YouTube now is everyone wants to become a millionaire making YouTube videos, and yeah, even my best year on YouTube
Yes.
wasn't that good. But I will say, when I started YouTube, the first 2 years, I applied for the partner program. I think you could apply every 8 weeks, or I don't remember what it was. But I applied every chance I got. It took me 2 years and applying like 8 times to get accepted. So I made YouTube videos completely free for 2 years, and even once I started getting money from YouTube, it wasn't much. It was like
Yeah.
$2. So yeah,
Yeah, actually, I applied for monetization and I got in about a week ago, and I
yeah,
was checking the revenue, and it's nowhere near where you would have expected it to be for all of the work you're putting in.
yeah. Oh no, I'm jealous of the way YouTube's laid out now. I mean, you can right now on YouTube, you can apply and you know exactly what you have to have: a certain number of subscribers, a certain
Yeah,
number
a
of
watch
watch
time.
hours. Back when I had to do it in 2010, 11, they never told you what they wanted. That you just applied and they're like, you didn't get accepted. Okay, why? I'm getting views. I have more views than this channel who has a partnership. Why can't I get it? And they don't.
It was
They never
select.
answered that. So if anything, right now, even if you think there's so many people doing YouTube and you feel like you can't stand out, at least you know what you have to do to make it. Back then, I didn't even know, so you at least have a chance now.
So, John, transitioning over to the main topic of today's superhero sit down, we're going to be talking about Spider-Man Far From Home,
Okay.
Marvel's follow-up to Avengers Endgame. So,
Yeah.
John, what is the number one thing you want to see happen in Far From Home?
Okay. I want to see a another MCU villain that I care about, and I'm hoping with Mysterio they give me that. And it sort of looks like they're going the route of him and Spider-Man are teammates early on in the movie, and
Yeah.
something transpires into them facing each other at the end. But I'm hoping they're able to turn Mysterio into sort of a anti-hero in a way. He
Yeah.
might be kind of the bad guy at the end of this movie, but in future movies he'll be the anti-hero. And I'm hoping that they present him in a way that I can like him and hate him at the same time.
Oh, for sure. I mean, that love-hate relationship with the audience is what crafts the best villains. I
Hmm.
mean, look at Killmonger, look at Thanos. These are characters where you're not necessarily, you see them on screen and you don't really want them to die because they're so good and because they're coming from a place of understanding. As the audience member, you understand where they're coming from. So hopefully with Jake Gyllenhaal, who is one of the best actors in the entire MCU, hopefully they take his character the right way, do it justice, and by the end of the film, we get that same love-hate relationship between Mysterio and with the audience.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I have hope for it because I don't think Gyllenhaal would sign on just for
Yeah,
any
for
comic
one.
book movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, he could do any movie he wants to. So that gives me hope for it. I will say this might be a weird, like nitpicky thing. I don't love movies or comic book movies set in the UK. I don't know why. They just something about the
Like the
setting and
scenery.
yeah, the scenery, it looks a little drab and a lot of concrete and it's a little boring. I'm like, yeah, but I don't know. Maybe the movie will blow me away. I'm just like, yeah, New York would have been
Yeah.
okay. I would have been okay with New York.
I think New York's been through enough by now.
Well,
But
destroy it one more time. It doesn't matter. So.
uh, so with Spider-Man Far From Home being one of the most anticipated movies of the year, really, this is something that is coming off of it's the follow-up to Avengers Endgame. So even with their marketing campaigns, they've integrated the events of Avengers Endgame to place a significant role into the story of Spider-Man Far From Home. So for me, the number one thing I want to see in Spider-Man Far From Home is I want to see Peter dealing with the death of Tony Stark. That relationship was basically the foundation of the character of Spider-Man within the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So going forward, I want to see how that relationship affects Peter and shapes him into being more of an independent hero that we've been waiting to see come to fruition in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Sure, yeah. It looked like the trailer was sort of shaping him up to be the new Iron Man of
Yeah.
the Marvel universe. And I don't think that's necessary. I don't think that's needed. And I don't think Spider-Man.
The thing is that the Marvel, they don't need a new Iron Man. They need the one and only Spider-Man.
Yeah, they need. Yeah, make him a kid. The thing about Spider-Man that makes him relatable is he's just a kid. He's a dude that swings around the streets of New York. He saves people. He goes to high school the next day. He stays up all night playing video games, and then he goes to school like you did. That's what I want him to be. I don't want him to step into this leadership role, and he's the new tech guy who puts together all the suits for everyone and fixes it. I don't want that. That'll destroy Spider-Man. So I'm hoping that maybe they go that route for like 10 minutes in the movie, and then he realizes, I'm not supposed to be Iron Man. I'm supposed to be Spider-Man. Maybe that's his internal conflict by the end of the movie. I don't know.
Or maybe they could play that like Thor kind of route, where it's like Thor is like supposed to be this big, powerful leader, but then he realizes that that's not him, so he like drifts off and he becomes who he really is. So
he sits around playing video games with a beer belly, and he loses all of his muscle mass. Hey, I've been there. I know it. I get it. That was the most relatable part of Thor I've ever seen.
So with also the Spider-Man universe building itself within the MCU, it looks like they're going to be setting up the Sinister Six for Spider-Man 3. Spider-Man 3 isn't official yet, but from everything all the details we've been getting, Marvel's going to renegotiate a deal with Sony and extend their rights for the character of Spider-Man. So Spider-Man 3 will most likely be on the way. And with them having the Vulture and the Scorpion meet in that Homecoming end credit scene, and now with the details of Michael Keaton being on set of Spider-Man Far From Home, and with them introducing Mysterio, it looks like they're going to be setting up the Sinister Six for Spider-Man 3. So if they actually do that, and if that comes to fruition, what do you think can top that? Because Spider-Man is definitely a character who deserves more than a trilogy. He deserves, like 6 movies. He's a franchise character. And I don't think you can get much bigger than the Sinister Six after his only third, solo film.
Sure, yeah. Do you remember when they attempted to do the Sinister Six and the Amazing Spider-Man movies? My God. I hopefully they do fix those mistakes. I'm down for it. The thing about Spider-Man is, especially in Marvel films, you can always lace Spider-Man in a lot of the other Marvel films along the way in between his solo movies. So they can fill in more story and give him more character development. But by the time they make his third movie, maybe he'll, cameo in 2 or 3 other movies and build up some more Sinister Six storylines, because the Marvel universe right now does need some new villains. So why not throw some Spider-Man villains into the mix? I would actually like to see the villain of Rhino done some justice. I don't need to see Paul Giamatti in a robot suit. Hey, Spider-Man, I'm gonna get you, Spider-Man. I'm gonna come out there in my boxes and I'm gonna stab you. It was terrible. So I'm hoping they actually do an actual Rhino. I want to see the actual physical muscle-bound villain, the Rhino, without the mechanical suit. But yeah, the Sinister Six, I'm down for. I can't wait to see. Who do you think? Who do you think would make a good Green Goblin?
Green Goblin. Okay, so I actually made a video on this today.
Okay.
I posted the video, but after discussing it, and me and my friend came across a Reddit post that it's like a mid-credit scene theory that introduces Oscorp and the Green Goblin into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And then after thinking about it with my friend, I know this is a wild choice. This is something I haven't seen on the internet, but I think a perfect candidate for the Green Goblin would be Will Smith. I think, and Will Smith, because he definitely has the acting chops.
Sure.
And Green Goblin is a character Green Goblin to Spider-Man is the Joker to Batman. He's someone that isn't just, a standalone movie villain. He's someone that keeps on reoccurring. And with Oscorp being such a massive villain in the organization itself to Spider-Man, that could be a villain that presents itself to the entire MCU. And not only do you have Will Smith, but could we possibly, with the acquisition of Will Smith as the Green Goblin, could we possibly see his son, Jaden Smith, come back to play Harry Osborn? And then you have that father-son relationship. Jaden Smith and Tom Holland are 2 years apart in age. So I could definitely see that happening. And then Tom Holland and Will Smith actually have, some chemistry on screen because they're doing a movie together. The Spies in Disguise, it's an animated movie. It comes out this year. So they've worked with each other in the past. And I think Will Smith would be a perfect candidate for Green Goblin in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
That's quite an interesting choice, I will say. I'm going to disagree with that. I would say if they do have Will Smith, I can see it because it's sort of a different take on the character, because we've had the older, decrepit Green Goblin characters, the guys who are in their 50s. Going a little bit younger could make sense, and it's more relatable. I would say if they do go that route, please, for the sake of all of humanity, all right, just don't cast Jaden Smith as his son, Harry Osborn. Anyone else, I will take any other actor. And I think your idea would work without that. Do you think Venom will ever come into the MCU, the actual MCU?
So after hearing about the multiverse and how they're going to introduce that in Spider-Man Far From Home, I think there is definitely a possibility for Venom to make his way and be presented as like a different reality that makes its way over to the main universe. But it's tough to tell. I mean, from I forgot her name, Amy something, who's the head of the Spider-Man franchises over at Sony. She has stated in the past that Venom is in the same universe he's not in the same universe as Spider-Man, but they're in the same reality. So
okay.
And she said that during the Homecoming press. So that was during the time where they're like constructing the plan for Spider-Man Far From Home. And then that's where you had Kevin Feige giving these weird reactions to what she was saying, as like he's literally like, is she about to spoil like what's to come? I don't know.
Really? Yeah. I mean, at one point he has to show up. They have to, face off and then somehow team up slightly because. Yeah. But is there a Venom 2 sequel announced?
Yeah, it got announced. I think it has a 2020 or a 2021 release date, but it did get announced.
Okay. Well, I hope it's better than the first one.
For sure. I mean,
it can't be that hard to do, right?
Yeah.
Just try.
And then with the introduction of Carnage, let's see how that plays out.
Yeah, I hope it's good. I think they missed an opportunity, though. I much rather would have seen Tom Hardy cast as the new Wolverine than Venom. Yeah, so
and then my thoughts. And then Boss Logic keeps on teasing us with all that Tom Hardy Wolverine art.
Yeah, I know. Maybe he'll play both. He's played Bane. Why not just play 3, 5, 7 other comic book characters? Who knows?
Sure.
Who knows? I mean, if Robert Pattinson can become Batman, anything's possible nowadays.
Yeah, I mean, that was a casting that no one saw coming.
Yeah, I don't hate it, but at the same time, I'm like, really, out of every actor, that's like, is that really the best one for the job? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I had the same reaction, but like I took a couple of days to study what Robert Pattinson has been doing over the course of his career, and he stuck to the more smaller project, the indie films, and this guy is a great actor. That there's no denying that.
Sure.
So he has acting chops. Definitely wasn't my first choice.
Yeah.
And wasn't even my 10th choice to play Batman. But he definitely has the acting chops.
Oh no. I if you ever watch the movie Good Time, the guy can act. He can act, and I'm all for that. But when I look at him, I'm just like, that looks like a dude I see in like Planet Fitness curling 25-pound dumbbells. I'm like, I just don't see him going up, into Arkham Asylum and beating up the Joker or something. I just don't see it. He just doesn't have the physical prowess to do it. But then again, people said the same thing about Michael Keaton. So who knows?
I feel like for every Batman casting, there's always an outrage. But
the only time people were ever cool with it was really like Christian Bale.
Yeah. And I remember for Affleck, there was a lot of people that were like kind of pissed.
Yeah, and I remember even in the 90s, like even when George Clooney was cast, like no one really made a big deal about it. And it's like, that's George Clooney. Like that's not Batman. Or even Val Kilmer before that no one even talked about. So
yeah.
I guess just no one cared about Batman in the mid 1990s, obviously. Joel Schumacher obviously didn't.
Yeah, for real. I mean, I bet you it was all social media, really, because social media wasn't really around in the 1990s. So now just everyone has this one opinion, and that opinion gets blown out of proportion by like everyone else.
It does. So, yeah, that's the one negative about social media. Everyone gets a voice, even if the voice shouldn't be heard. Yeah.
So, John, with Spider-Man Far From Home being, the end of Phase 4 for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and with Marvel kind of taking a break of making movies until I think their next scheduled release date is May 2020. So
oh, wow. Okay.
There's gonna be a huge break for Marvel films. So with this being the last film in Phase 4, where do you think Marvel goes after this?
Whew, man, with the Falcon becoming the new Captain America, and I don't know. It's one of those things I'm not quite sure. I'm curious. I think there's a lot of potential. I'm just not sure. I don't even know. Tell me your speculation.
So going forward, my initial reaction was start laying the foundation for the introduction for the X-Men and the Fantastic Four to slowly make their way into it. But now with this Spider-Man Far From Home marketing campaign, marketing the multiverse, and having such a crucial point, like such a crucial plot point, that the multiverse now going forward, it's going to play a huge role, because that's something that, you don't just introduce, you don't just have it in your trailers and your clips, and you don't explore it in the coming movies. The multiverse is something that it changes the game. Nick Fury clearly said it in a clip and in a trailer that after Tony snapped his fingers, the main universe was opened up to a bunch of different realities. So that is something that's going to be interesting to see play out in the coming movies.
Yeah, I hope it just doesn't get too convoluted for its own good. The thing I liked about this universe was it was consistent. It stayed within its own realm. If we have all these inner dimensions happening and things that don't matter here and matter here, it kind of takes away from the things that you get. It does. I will say like with Fantastic Four, that would be a smart move to start going that direction, because we've never had a good Fantastic Four movie. We need one. And with Galactus kind of being in that universe, you need a new major cosmic villain to come in.
Yeah, big bad.
Plus Silver Surfer. I mean, he's a badass. I want more of that. My big thing was with the X-Men. I think X-Men itself, if they start making X-Men movies, I don't think they need to be really hardcore injected into the MCU universe. I think they can coexist, but they have so much on their own that they can explore that you don't need the Falcon and Wolverine teaming up. You don't need Spider-Man and Nightcrawler in the same movie. You just don't need it. There's so much already going on over there. And the other thing is, like, with their universe, the X-Men universe, and with like a Fantastic Four, for example, Fantastic Four are sort of like mutants on their own, right? So when you throw Fantastic Four into the X-Men universe, are they that fantastic anymore? Are they so amazing? I mean, so I think some separation is good, but coexisting in the realm of possibility is good, but I don't need to see them in each other's movies, especially X-Men. Keep X-Men a little bit to its own thing.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out, because, with Infinity War and Endgame being movies that featured everyone, one of my negatives that I had is that it kind of felt a bit overcrowded. And with Marvel getting the rights to so many more different characters, now it's going to be, interesting moving forward to see how they're going to handle it, because it's going to be too much to handle. You can't have 150 characters on screen and then they're all significant characters that we know and love, because it's just going to be too much from an audience standpoint. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah, sometimes when you have one movie that hinges on another movie that hinges on another movie, it's sometimes that's a good thing, sometimes that's a negative thing, because it can kind of ruin the moment. If one movie is not that great, it kind of ruins the momentum going into the other movie. So I definitely I agree with that.
So another piece of news that came out recently was that Marvel is trying to find their way of how they're going to integrate Deadpool into the MCU. The three options that are on the table right now is a Deadpool standalone solo film, so Deadpool 3, a PG-13 Disney Plus series, and an appearance in Spider-Man Far From Home. My question to you, is out of those three options, what would be your, most likely, or the option you choose as for Deadpool to enter the MCU?
Gosh, through X-Men. I would just make an X-Men movie and have him come in through that route. But if what were the other options? I'm sorry.
It was a standalone Deadpool movie, so
Okay.
Deadpool 3, a PG-13 Disney Plus series, and an appearance in Spider-Man 3.
Definitely not the PG-13 plus series. Just cancel that out
Definitely.
right now. Spider-Man 3, I don't think he needs it. So I will go with your first option there. I think that makes the most. I think just throw him in there. Just give him his third movie. Start it off.
Yeah.
Here he is, guys. Here's Deadpool. Open it up to that universe. He makes so many self-references. I mean, to everything happening. He can pretty much just say, "I'm here now, guys. Hey."
Yeah, that's
and then
Deadpool.
yeah. So he won't hold anything back. So I would just go with his own standalone movie.
Yeah, I definitely feel that would make the most sense, because you could just have that movie have its own plot, and then at the end have like his universe be like sucked into the main universe or something like that. So that would definitely make the most sense from a narrative standpoint. But for me personally, I would love to see him make just a small appearance in Spider-Man 3, just because that Spidey-Pool relationship is something that we have been dreaming about. I mean, Tom Holland, Ryan Reynolds on screen, that's something we dream about.
Yeah,
So,
I could see that. I mean, who knows? Maybe if you made a Deadpool 3 movie, maybe Spider-Man could, cameo in that movie.
who knows? Who knows moving forward?
You might have a sidekick. That'd be kind of interesting.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
think you think Disney will go rated R?
That's the thing with Deadpool. Deadpool is he's a character I'm very interested to see how they handle, because he's rated R, and because his movies have been so successful with him being such a hardcore rated R character. It's going to be interesting to see how Disney handles him moving forward, because there comes a point where, do you do the character justice and sacrifice your PG-13 rating, or do you dumb down the character so you can give him that PG-13 rating?
Yeah, I think maybe Disney will have it'll have like a separate studio that handles movies like this, so they don't have to have the big Disney logo on them.
Yeah.
Maybe it'll just say Marvel. So yeah, that I think they would be doing themselves a disservice if they made it rated PG-13.
Yeah.
Because
even
even
the Deadpool we know and love.
Because even the rated R Deadpool movies, they're violent, but they're not sexually violent or anything like that. So I think they're okay. I think they'd be okay if Disney presented them. I think they're like almost barely rated R movies, in my opinion. They're like on the cusp of barely being rated R sometimes, in my opinion, outside of language. So
yeah, outside of language, to be honest, if you just take out the language and his use of profanity,
yeah,
I'm pretty sure it would be a PG-13 movie.
Yeah, it almost could. You mean a little bit of CG blood here and there, but that's about it. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so that's definitely something I'm interested to see how they handle moving forward. So, excuse me. So, John, now with the MCU after Endgame transitioning over to a more cosmic universe, we know the Eternals is on the way. We know Captain Marvel is gonna step up to the plate and,
yay!
according to Kevin Feige, take the lead of the MCU.
Oh, maybe.
Guardians 3, hoping to introduce Adam Warlock. It seems that they're going to be going way more cosmic moving forward. So what are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I'm all for it. The cosmic realm it's more fantastical. I mean, we've been on Earth for so long outside of, the Thor and Guardians movies, but I'm okay with that. I think that's the realm that people want to see. I want to see more movies that are a little bit self-aware, that have more humor to them. I mean, sometimes like an epic, awesome movie like Endgame is needed, but like Thor Ragnarok, that set the new tone for me that I want to see in upcoming Marvel films, and that movie to me was phenomenal. Like that might be my top 3 Marvel films of all time. It's so rewatchable. I watch it like every 2 days on Netflix. So if they want to go that route in the cosmic universe, I'm all for it.
Oh, for sure. And one of my biggest positives about Endgame was that we still have Thor. Thor is still a prominent character in the universe. He didn't get killed. He's not going to retire. He's joining the Guardians of the Galaxy. And now with him joining the Guardians and most likely being in Guardians of the Galaxy 3, I thought that was a really smart move because in Guardians Galaxy 3, they're going to introduce the most powerful being, Adam Warlock. Because they're going to introduce Adam, I'm interested to see Thor versus Adam Warlock. We already know that's going to happen. So that's something that really excites me for Guardians of the Galaxy 3, the fact that they're bringing Thor, who feels like a completely new character after Thor Ragnarok, really. That was such a pivotal movie in changing the character of Thor. So I'm so excited to see Thor's future play out in the coming movies.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know a lot about the character Adam Warlock. I don't know, like, outside of this universe of Marvel characters, like, I don't have knowledge on the extra characters. So I don't know much about him, but as far as Thor goes, here's what I'm hoping for the next movie that he's featured in. I want to see like almost a Rocky-esque training montage sequence where he burns off the belly fat that he acquired in Endgame.
Yes.
And then he's back in shape. I want to see that. That's what you can even have like Star-Lord come out and say something funny about like the Rocky training montage, listening to Eye of the Tiger or something like that. That's what I'm hoping to see.
Okay. That would just be everything. And there was Star-Lord having that nostalgic soundtrack.
Yes.
I could see that happening so easily.
That's what I need. That's what I need to see.
So, John, we've come to the end of Superhero Sit-Down, episode 14. Do you have any final thoughts before we end today's episode?
Gosh, well, other than thanks for having me, very professional. I was impressed by your delivery of your questions. Next time though, different poster back there. But no, this was awesome. this was awesome. I still need to see Endgame again. I keep wanting to go see it for the second time in theaters. But other than that, it's a weird time in movies, right? I mean, it's like a whole new phase. You don't know what you're getting, and I'm excited for it. You know, if you're a comic book movie fan, this is the best time ever to be alive watching movies.
For sure. You're trying to go watch Endgame for the second time. I'm trying to go watch it for my 10th time. I've seen
Oh, man.
I've seen it 9 times already. I've spent over a day of my life in that theater watching Endgame. So
30 hours you spent in that theater, dude.
Yeah.
Wow.
For the right reasons, though.
Yeah. I hear you. I want to go back. I want to go back when there's like no one else in the theater where I can just sit there and like.
It's like your own private screen.
Yeah, that's what I'm waiting for.
Yeah. And add those few extra dollars to push it over Avatar that it's so close to passing.
Yeah. Well, hey, we got 9 more Avatar films, so look out for that. Yeah.
Yeah, Avatar 2, 3, 4, 5 slated on the list.
Who knows? Maybe Spider-Man will show up in those movies too. I don't know.
Or that would be how Deadpool enters. I don't know.
There you go. Hey, it's a Fox property. Anything's possible.
Yeah. So guys, there you guys have it. There's Superhero Sit-Down episode 14. Make sure to check out John's content. Links will all be in the description. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and hit that like button. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed. And see you guys next time.